Hi there, Matt from Kicking Pixels. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use the free version of a really powerful plugin called UpdraftPlus. This will help you create backups of your website and also schedule those backups so that the whole process is completely automated. So let's jump into the back end of WordPress. Okay, so here we are in the back end of WordPress, and the first task we need to do is actually find UpdraftPlus and upload it to our WordPress install. So if you go to plugins and add new, you can then use the search for plugins and then type in UpdraftPlus, and you'll see it as the first plugin in the list, and you can then install and activate that. So I'll quickly do that, pause the video, and then we'll come back into the interface of UpdraftPlus. Okay, UpdraftPlus Backup plugin has been installed and activated, and you can find that by going to Settings and then UpdraftPlus Backups. So when in the interface here, you have the option to set a backup, either manually or you can actually schedule one. So I did one a little earlier, and it's literally a case of just clicking Backup and choosing whether you want to have your files and database backed up, which you would, and then you can click Backup Now. And then when that's actually run, which you did a few minutes ago, you can actually see that the backup is there, and it splits out the database, plugins, themes, uploads, and others. And you can actually choose which elements you actually want to restore, which is pretty cool. Now, assuming that something goes wrong with your site and you need to revert back to a backup and you're unable to access the back end of the site, it's obviously very helpful to firstly not only have a recent backup but actually have one that's stored off site. So I'll share with you now under the settings section how you can actually schedule your WordPress backups and also serve them off site. So the first thing you come to when you want to schedule is you choose the files that you want to schedule, which is the first setting, and how often that will be. So we'll set those to weekly, and then you can also have a choice of how many of those backups you actually want to retain. So maybe we put 3 or 4. So if we have 4, then obviously we've got a month's worth of backups that we can roll back to depending on the scenario. And then we'll set our backups for database to be daily, and again probably set 4 of those. Now if you've got an e-commerce site, you'll probably want to be backing up more regularly than that, especially if you've got a high turnover of sales. So you can actually simply set your backup files to daily, and I would set the database to hourly. And probably because the database is relatively small, you could probably afford to have more of those versions of that backup sitting so that you've got some room to roll back to. Okay, so once you've set the schedule for your backup files and your database, then it's deciding where you actually want to save those off-site. So it's a good idea to actually save those somewhere away from your hosting environment for a few reasons. If your site has any malware, for example, then obviously having it on your hosting environment is not a good idea because it can infect other areas of the server. Also, if you can't access your hosting environment for any reason, then you've got your backups that you can access from an environment that you can control. And also, if you're saving multiple backups to your hosting environment, it's going to be taking up a lot of your storage space. So choose your preferred environment to save it to, something like Dropbox or Amazon S3 or Google Drive, and then everything in terms of the included files to backup, you can leave those as preset, and then you have an option to check or uncheck the email that you get notified once that actually backs up and backs up successfully or not, just so you're aware of it. So it's a good idea to get those, and then you click Save. Now you'll get a notification here that you've selected the remote storage, so you need to actually connect your WordPress site and UpdraftPlus and give it permission to be able to save those database and file backups to your Dropbox folder of choice. So we won't do that here, but you'll need to do that as part of that process for all of these, whichever one you choose to actually back up to. And then finally, this is part of the premium version, but there's the option to encrypt your database before you serve it off site, which is a good idea if you're holding sensitive information, either your own or your clients or customers. So it's well worth it, and there's a lot of other great features that you get with the Pro version. But for the free one, that should cover most scenarios, and once it's backed up, you get notified and you'll have peace of mind that your site is being backed up automatically and regularly. So that's all there is to it. I really hope you found the video tutorial useful in helping you to keep your website up to date and safe. And if you'd like to subscribe to more of these types of upcoming WordPress tutorials, simply click to subscribe so you don't miss anything. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.
For more information, call us or visit our website